So, hello everyone, welcome to this episode. This time I have a guest speaker with me, Dieter Dragon, and he is my manager. We are working together in the same company, and let me introduce him how we met 2 years ago when I was looking for a work and he was looking an engineer and a consultant to work together. And yeah, our paths has crossed as it is, and now we are working in the same projects in the same company. I focus more technical side, more operational side, and he's focusing more executive partners and parties of it. And by the way, he is an aerospace engineer and he turned it to entrepreneur or co-founder of a technological consultancy company. And we will try to understand his insights about how his career path came to that point. So I mentioned you as a consultant, co-founder, aerospace engineer, but how would you describe yourself when all the labels fall away?
I would say that I'm a person that is constantly seeking for new input. I'm hungry for always for new input, for new technologies. And what I really like is that I understand this technology as I really want to understand it. I'm permanently giving input into my brain, if you like. And when I have that, I like to bring this across to people and fascinate people and inspire people with that. So if you bring it to the essence, that is always what has been driving me throughout my career. New input, creativity, and inspiring people with that. That's
And
me.
inspiring people, but what was the dream behind it? Maybe you also still carry with you today.
First of all, there's not just one dream, I have to say. Dreams are also a bit changing. But when you go back, when I was at school, I was looking into brochures how to become an aerospace engineer or an astronaut. Actually, astronaut didn't turn out, as we know. But anyway, I did something in that branch. And when you ask me what I like to do is, as I said, I like to get new input. I like to start new businesses across my career. I was also even always carried by the thought to be self-employed at a certain point of time, and yeah, to have something which is creative and which is interesting from a technology perspective and somehow also meaningful to other people. That is, if you like, my dream. And if I am able to have such new input all the time and having new technologies all the time, that's something that makes me happy. And that's also something I need to get going, by the way. So if it becomes too boring for me, that's not good. So I need new input.
And I know also you have been in between technological projects. Also, you have been leading them. You made so many projects with the new technologies. But how it came to start your own consultancy company in this journey?
Yeah, it's again, I wanted to do something like this, but why at all? I founded my company at that time, to say it like this. I was experiencing and collecting a lot of experience across my journey when I was in large corporations and aerospace corporations. And I learned how such companies work and also how they do not work, what is not so going so well, I have to say. The second point is, as I said, I was always wanting to found my own company. That thought was always there with strange different things that I had in my mind. And a consultancy company, first of all, there's a coincidence, more or less, if you want. That was also part of my background, of course, of my personal background, because I was already managing director of a consultancy company. But generally speaking, when I also get back to what I really love to do, consultancy and digitalization around products is the ideal ground for me, because it's like a documentary soap, a real documentary soap, if you like, where you can play an active role in. And customers tell us openly about the secrets of their products. So I can learn on the job every day in totally new branches that I have never experienced before. Is it pharmaceutical industry? Is it food and beverage industry? Is it aerospace engineering? Is it some component providers? All these industries, they have so many nice secrets, and I learn this every day, and I can help them to make the job better. Nothing can be better like this. And this was, I think, also part of the journey, and finally also the decision to have a consultancy company in that area.
I think I would add something. For example, we learn a lot of things from our customers, but day by day, as documentary, as you mentioned, we learn many things and how to implement, how to give the solutions to them. But sometimes there are some uncertain times like summer or maybe on vacation time, maybe, I don't know, economical fluctuations time. There are some uncertainties also in their sometimes the managing and directory levels. But what is the most difficult part of the consultancy and the consultancy companies for you?
I think the most tricky part is actually to help the people that we are talking to in these companies to manage the change in the company. Because when you put yourself into their shoes, these companies have been successful over time by doing their job as they do it. And all of a sudden, they realize they need to adapt somehow. There needs to be a change. Technology is moving ahead. Competitors are arising. And that is always creating a kind of internal resistancy and fear if that change is good or not. And to help our contacts in the company to propagate that change, to win people for the change, and to explain them why it is a good idea to start that change in the company, to initiate it, to work differently. I think that's the most tricky part of the consultancy. And it is also when I look in such companies, and this fear is always there, there's a good reason why they are so successful sometimes in the market. We have, particularly in Germany, we have so many world market leaders in certain areas that I even didn't know before. But when you see, and it's obvious to see that the change is going to disrupt them in a certain manner, it is not always easy to take too much time to get this change started. And because the risk is there that they lose their competitive edge. And that is the problem that is, I think, for me, the biggest problem that we have, totally irrespective of technology and software solutions and whatever.
Yeah, you're totally right. We are working with the change makers inside of the organizations and most of the time the traditional companies or family companies. But what do you think, when or how the real change begins? With the mindset, people, or very cool software? What do you think about it?
To be honest, exactly in that order. So mindset is the first thing, because the mindset needs to be set in a way that change is good. That's a mindset issue, right? So you have to welcome the change. Otherwise, you cannot do anything. With that mindset, you need to win people inside the organization to also have that mindset, to adapt to that mindset and to start the change. And software is finally a very important part from a technology perspective to support their jobs. But it's, I think, the last thing that comes. The best software investment is lost if people in mindset are not ready to use it in the right way.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But nowadays, as you have seen, maybe more than me, we have heard many, let's say, waves in the technology like digital transformation. Nowadays, we hear a lot with the artificial intelligence. I think it is also hard for them to recognize what to do, when to do, and how to invest. But from your consultancy point of view, how would you really recognize what your customer to invest or where to start the point?
To get out what they really need, you shouldn't talk to just one person. It's very important. This is also the way how we do that. You have a primary contact who is organizing the change if you want, but this person has a particular mindset, a particular attitude, a particular knowledge, and also a certain point of view. And when you walk through an organization, and what we do in product lifecycle management is it's a discipline that is touching many different organizations, organizational entities at our customers. It is very important to get their views, to really get their unbiased views of that individual people. And how we do that is we start to organize interviews with those persons, and to also build up trust and make them aware that we are not kind of, trying to we are not opponents, we are friends for them. And by making this understand, people will start sooner or later to talk what they really affects them and what they really need and what their real fears are also. And by getting these different perspectives from, let's say, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 different people, and even more if it's required, this gives you over time a certain picture and an image how the organization works today, where the real problems are, and also where to get started. Because it's also clear that hardly anybody is ready to invest into a big program or into, a very big thing over the next years, even if the vision is as nice as it might be, because people want to test it. They want to see, does it work for me? Where do we start? If you get this unbiased view from different people, you know usually where to start. And then the important part is to start small enough with low-hanging fruits, as we say, so that they see what they have out of it. And then if that is starting, and if people discover the benefit for them, the change is propagated much more easily into the organization. And then you can move ahead.
Yeah, you're completely right. And I totally agree with you, starting small and continue. And I'm wondering also your opinion about the technology and the future. We always speak about how artificial intelligence will affect the industries and the people, but also from the consultancy point of view, how it will affect us. And maybe about the industry, what excites you more about it?
First of all, I mean, AI it's one of the biggest game changer, I think, everywhere. And it is also affecting us a lot in our consultancy business. And I'm always a person who is welcoming new things. That's, I think, in my nature. As I said, also, I want to understand these new things. And the AI is a very fascinating technology because I try to sum it up in my own words. So if you imagine somebody, an old wise man with a white beard, I don't know, who has the collective knowledge of the whole mankind in his brain, he has access to that without any delay. So instant access, can combine all this information easily, and you can ask that person as many times as you want. It always will be patient. You can also give feedback that the answer is not good. Will be patient. So what I'm trying to say is there's a big chance in using AI for our business and also for our lives. It's there. It will not go away. That's for sure. And other people will use it. So generally speaking, we have the choice to be ahead of the curve and use this new technology, which will not go away, and to disrupt the business and also the lives and also the markets, or to be disrupted by others, because for sure others will do it. So for me, I always see the positive side of it. What makes me worried, if you want, is that still there are many discussions about, is AI a good technology? Shall I use it or not? Shouldn't it be disappearing or so? This will not happen. If one thing makes me worried is that people are not quickly enough discovering the benefit that it brings for them and for their particular situation, for their business.
Yeah, some of the customers are more ready, let's say, to use it because they have been collecting many data since years, but some of them just starting to implementing it, and they just come and ask, hey, how can I use it in my organization or something? So it is really in the consultancy point of view where to start, how to start. For them, it's also hard to understand sometimes. But we have some also examples. We have already implemented or working on some projects together. But do you want to mention some of them? Do you want to give some examples about AI?
Sure. As I said, also, it will definitely also affect our business and our way of doing business, because many things that we were saying to our customers in the past, we can identify ourselves, or AI is giving the answers if you want. But generally speaking, when you talk about industrial digitalization, this is what we actually do. AI is always good in a first shot, and everybody understands it quite easily. If you have to extract information, sum up information, and eliminate tiring manual work, repetitive work that people have to do. And there are good examples. For example, if you have many laws and regulations, as you know, and our customers, they are developing products and they have to make sure that they comply to laws and regulations. Pharmaceutical industry, food and beverage industry, our medical technologies are good examples that affect ourselves, but any product is dedicated to regulations. And you can imagine, particularly in Europe, that we have tons of regulations, and they are published regularly on websites. And these websites are not as user-friendly as you wish to have it. So we use AI, for example, to unburden quality people in our customer departments to seek for that information, for these updates, because what they have to do is they have to look through that websites, literally, step by step, understand what is the latest change, where is this latest change happened, how does it affect my products, and what do I have to do in order to, somehow implement this new regulation. And through AI, we can easily take that task, we can automate it, we can identify those websites, we can retrieve the information, we can sort it, and we can even trigger workflows where we say, like, here's the change that you need to do. And all of a sudden, this task, which was a long-lasting, tiring task in the past, that has disappeared. Another very nice example, because our customers are producing something, right? So we have customers, if it's in the food domain or if it's in an aerospace domain, it doesn't matter. Our customers run factories. And a factory is a very complex entity, obviously, consisting of many systems, subsystems, machines, software, electrical systems, mechanical systems. And products are produced in these factories, which means if there's a failure, if any incident happens, and it happens, of course, as you can imagine, the more systems you have and the more complex, the more things will break down, then operators of that factory have to search for the error, have to bring in their experience, have to fix that error, and make it up and running as soon as possible. And through AI, imagine you have your GPT. You can talk to the factory in the morning and ask it, hey, is there anything that went wrong overnight? Is there anything that is going to come up? Is there anything I should do to anticipate any failure or error? And the whole factory will give you the answer. The factory will tell you, yeah, here was an incident, you should do this and that, and it will tell you exactly how to fix it. You can ask, again, okay, where's the document that shows me how I can fix it? You can ask the factory, what shall I do in order to have people going to repair it? And how can I get it up and running? And how does it work? All the sensors and all the machines and all the software is connected. All the documents, the manuals of the machines are documented. The experience that I had in the past with the company is documented. The workflows are there. And AI can combine that within 1 second, right? That means you can talk to your factory and the factory gives you answers. It's a wonderful example, I think, of what we can do and what is ahead of us.
Yeah, completely right. And when it comes to the German companies and Germany, actually, we are focusing more in this market area, and we have seen many organizations, many industries together. And what do you think? Are they ready enough or open to change enough? What do you think about in the German market, how they are?
Yeah, I would say it's a mixed experience, because Germany is known in the world market, I think, for good quality. Yeah? Something like very solid, and this is also kind of mindset of the people. When it comes to new technologies that are changing their businesses and also their products, I see a tendency to be very hesitant also and resistant to change at the very beginning. And it's a certain risk, because when you look solar energy, windmills, battery powered vehicles, there are some examples that everybody has in mind when there's a risk to lose somehow the competitive edge, because the tendency is to try to keep as long as possible the success of the past, but not to welcome the change and to invest into it. And I can give you one very nice example. You said I was founding your own company. And when you do that, what you do is, because you need some money, you need funding, you want to enter the startup scene and so on. And what I have discovered in Germany is that, first of all, you have many administrators of innovation. Many people, experts, startup experts, try to organize events, cool events, but nobody is there to really help you out. And what I'm trying to say is that I had another business idea. That's another story. I had another business idea, and we were seeking for real funding for that. So it is 7-digit funding, which is substantial. And in Germany, you are sent from one expert to the others, usually experts who never founded their own company, by the way. So they have themselves no clue how to do that, but they are nominated to be experts. Secondly, to really find an investor who is understanding what you do. And I give you the example of the business idea. We wanted to disrupt the concrete business by developing with AI and with digitalization ultra high performance concrete, which is saving energy, which is very stable, which is one of the future technologies, with a proven track record in digitalization and with a partner who is a leading entity in developing concrete. So no doubt that we could do it. And we ended up with an investor from India who showed interest. We were very close to have that to get that funding, but in Germany it didn't happen because everybody explained you why it cannot work. Nobody told you, yes, it's a cool idea, we can do it, and you have proven it, but everybody explains you why it doesn't work. And that makes me a bit worried because sometimes I wonder where's that kind of entrepreneurial spirit that was also bringing our wealth and this technopreneurship, if you like, that we are known in Germany, where that has gone. And I think we have to work on that mindset too in order to welcome new technologies and stay ahead of the curve and not behind.
Yeah. And also so many people in the organizations, the change makers that we mentioned at the beginning, they are interested in the new technologies and they are wondering, they are calling us, they would like to learn more. So how it start our touch points with the customers and the organizations actually. And they are trying to, let's say, understand the situation, and they go to upper management to tell them, hey, there is something new and it will help us a lot. And this is our journey, how it's starting with the organizations. But there is always someone who has more curiosity or who has more interest to new technologies, let's say. And our journeys are starting like this.
Absolutely.
But from your point of view, again, nowadays, being the tech savvy or let's say technology related persona or persons, is it enough to understand those kind of new technologies, or we need more strategical awareness or more emotional awareness also, because we are working a lot of people in the organizations and we are talking about a change. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I'm an aerospace engineer, so I'm a tech-savvy person for sure. And also when it comes to our business, I'm really try to get into those topics. And I made myself at the beginning sometimes a mistake that you fall in love with technologies and with your own ideas. And I think that's a big mistake. So if you behave like that, you will not drive the change. So what you definitely need is, first of all, you need to put the customer interest in the center of all your efforts and not come with a technology and say like, hey, you have to love it. No, you have to understand what the customer really needs and try to translate it into a solution. And what I'm saying is that you need to put yourself into the shoes of customers, of the market. You need to have empathy in that respect. And you need to find your way and to navigate yourself through the journey. And that means that not the first idea is the best one, but you go in with something and you learn and you change, you adapt, you come up with something new, you slightly adapt it again and again. So you need to have the capability to really question yourself, to come up with new things and to fascinate people and inspire people. And you have to match it. You have to match your ideas, your tech solutions, if you want, with the need and the emotions of your customers. And otherwise you won't be successful. So I think it's a combination of all. The tech savviness it gives you a competitive edge, if you want, as a person over other people who don't have it. That's at least my perception, because you have something that maybe, I don't want to, how should I say, it is negative, but people who have a commercial background, for example, which is good, they don't have this understanding of technology. So it gives you a competitive edge, but you need to have the other sides too. Otherwise, I think you will not be successful with that.
Yeah, with that question, I would like to come more the personal insights regarding the leadership manner, because actually in Valantic, in our entity, let's say, we are doing something different than the others. We don't have hierarchies. And when I have first started the company, it was how it will work. And it was really different than the other companies and other company structures, but it gives us a lot of, for example, space to grow new leaders via taking more responsibilities, or maybe if they would like to, let's say, see themselves in the different positions, it allows us to change across the borders, let's say. So I would like to ask about this company structure. How did you decide to start a company without any hierarchy? And in this organization, what does the power mean for you?
Okay, so how comes that we decided to go without a hierarchy? From my personal background, I was working in a very large corporation, one of the leading aerospace companies in Europe. That means hundreds of thousands of people, literally. And I was working and navigating myself through a given hierarchy, if you want. And it's not always a nice experience because you are kind of squeezed in this hierarchy organization, which makes it very difficult, at least for persons as I am, who want to move things and want to bring things forward, because you end up in political games and power plays of people. And so the good thing is there was lots of structure. Negative thing is that people try to get over you somehow and take advantage of the organization. Then I was also managing director of a mid-sized company on top of a hierarchy, if you want. And I understood that I cannot judge the work of the people really, because I'm too far away from the daily work. So to a certain extent, you have to kind of ask others how the performance is and how it works. And in a consultancy company, particularly, where I was also, our consultants tell our customers how to make their business better and how to evolve the organizations. So that means the people that are doing the consultancy in front of our customers, they are mature in telling that. Yeah? What they need is help. They don't need somebody to tell them what to do. Because they tell our customers what to do better. They want to consult them. So the attitudes that we want to have in a company is self-motivated people, like you, by the way, who want to change something, who want to make it better, who want to drive something. And a hierarchy, in a best sense, where somebody tells you what to do, is blocking that. And this idea has also motivated me, amongst other things, to found your own company, to make it better, unbiased and without any negative influence. And the understanding of having no hierarchy and power, what does it mean, is that we consider ourselves, first of all, as you call it, servant leaders. So you and all of our colleagues are internal customers. So I understood that you are successful if I help you to become successful. So I have to create an organization and a space and an atmosphere that helps you to fully be engaged and motivated to learn to do whatever you believe is required to make our customers successful. And this is the guidance that we want to have. And power means that you try to be a good example in that respect. Yeah? So you're not telling people what to do, but you show how it could be done. Is it always perfect? No. And it's also part of the game, by the way. Everybody of us makes mistakes, and it's also normal that we do that, and only by the mistakes we are growing, by the way. And the moment of truth also, by the way, and this is a real moment of truth, is if you start your own company from scratch, and this is what we did, all the power plays of big corporations and all the hierarchies fall away, because you go to a notary, you get a lousy notary contract, here's your new company, but you have nothing. You have no brand, you have no customer, you have no employee, you have ideas in mind, and you have yourself. What should motivate anybody to join that company at that stage? Those people who join you replace safety and job in a very stable environment for uncertainty. And this is where you start. And this makes you pretty humble, because in that respect, you understand that the only thing that motivates people to come and to stay is if you give them a space to grow and a vision and a meaning to do something. And many people are seeking for that. And particularly those people whom you want to have are seeking for that. And those people can make the change also in front of our customers that we are consulting to make their lives better. So to speak, power. And this is the reason why we don't have any hierarchies. And we will move ahead like this. What we need is structure. And this is also, it's not so easy to find a structure where people can navigate themselves through the daily work. This is a constant adjustment that is required, but it doesn't require power over others in a negative sense or in a hierarchical sense.
Maybe just to mention here, we continue to try new things also in the organization. Maybe for listeners, it would be something, wow, how do you try this? Or how do you change this? Or is it, it makes you nervous about the uncertainty or something? Maybe there would be some questions after it. Of course, I'm waiting. But to be honest, making yourself adaptable with the change, I think it's also something. And if we speak about the consultancy, it's part of our daily work. So I totally agree with you. There are some certain pros and cons, but we still try to understand what is the best for our organization, especially with the grow day by day we are growing. So I would like to ask also, as a leader, how do you make yourself, let's say, staying adaptable with the new world? Because there are many things changing in the technology, leadership, or the other things. How you learn nowadays?
Well, how to do that? I mean, I told you from the beginning that this is anyway in my genes, if you like, that I'm constantly trying to seek for something new. And the sources where I have that is different kind of means. It starts with documentaries in radio stations. I'm listening to podcasts, of course, that we are recording here also. I'm having magazines at home, scientific magazines at home. Once in a while, when I think it's required to have a deep dive in a certain topic, I'm also doing an e-learning course somewhere. There are websites providing that, providers that doesn't cost a lot of money. Yeah? And I'm permanently doing that in many situations. I'm seeking that input and that change. And there are enough sources. If you're willing to learn, I think there are many sources to do that. And I do it in between the daily tasks also that I have. I do this in the evening time. And that keeps me up and running. And change, if you want, is my business and my energy, my fuel that keeps me running.
Now I'm coming to the end with the last question. And I really like to unmute my guest speakers with the big failing stories. What was your big failing story, and also how you manage your emotions, your human side of the leadership, let's say, as a leader?
So the first big failure, if you like, in my life, to be honest, was at school when I was in the 8th grade. So I was a teenager, completely occupied with different thoughts. I have kids in that age at the moment. And I was, of course, a teenager, and I was messing up my 8th grade totally. Yeah, so I was failing to move ahead to the 9th one, and I saw it coming. So you know it exactly that it's going to be like that, but nevertheless, I didn't manage to move ahead and to learn and to do things right. And when it happened, you were really sad. At least for me, that feeling is really so sad. You feel like you mess up your life and everything. And from that experience, what came afterwards is that I, at the beginning, I started to have a minimum interest at school. And after I changed to my apprentice and moved ahead also to my studies, I was so good at school that I got awards for my marks. And what I'm trying to say is, through that first failure, that was so negative, my emotions brought me to the point that I say I have to do something different. I have another example. In my previous job in the aerospace business, I was working in the space business, and there were customers like European Union and ESA. And I was responsible for a department and for a certain project. And I was walking in the customer meetings without proper preparation. And it came as it came. It had to come. So it was really a mess. The meeting was a mess. And again, I was feeling so guilty because I also brought colleagues into the situation. I was the leader there, and I brought in a negative situation that made me feel so guilty that I said, okay, I should never go in the future into customer meetings unprepared. At least what I'm doing is I sort my thoughts before. Yeah, there's a nice saying like, how is it said? Fail to prepare to fail. You know that one, yeah? So I made this my new motto, if you like. Yeah? And even when I founded my new company, I told you that the investment that we wanted to have in that case from India, in the last second, it was withdrawn. So for some reasons, there was no negative separation or something, but it didn't work out. So life had different plans with me. And that brought me to what I'm doing today. That brought me finally to Valentic. That brought me here into that room also with you together. And I'm so grateful for that this failure again has moved me in a different direction. And I think these personal failures, they are really important to understand yourself and to grow as a person. If everything is going smooth, you don't really get to know yourself. You need to understand what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses also. I know that pretty well, I think, over time right now. I'm listing it up here in this meeting, but I know it pretty well. And it also teaches you that you cannot do anything alone. So you need to have people around you who help you out of these situations and who also are filling your capability gaps around you. And only through that kind of experience of failure, you start to be aware of that. And even if it's a painful experience at the very beginning and the first reaction is you're seeking the failure somewhere else, pretty soon and faster over time, you learn it comes from me, from myself. This failure comes from myself. And you cannot manage everything and you have to accept it and move ahead. And then I think you can manage your emotions and you can keep going. And this knowledge is really rich and it makes you more mature as a person, I think. And it again makes you humble with other persons surrounding you, filling your capability gaps and helping you to make business. Because again, business and career and everything is connected with people always. And I think it's pretty nice and that keeps me going.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all of your insights today and also being here with me in this episode. It was really nice to have you here. And thank you so much, Dieter.
Thanks for organizing that, Jem. Thank you.